Well, good evening, internets. It's me, DP Knudten, for another edition of Bookward Bound, my 301-day journey from I should really do this to done. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about the creation of a brand new book and self-publishing of the same brand new book on Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing platform by January 1st of 2021. And I've been coming down here every night for 288 days so far and working on the book in one form or another, moving it forward. Well, tonight's going to be a little bit different because today is a very special day in, well, it's kind of a family tradition now. And we call it Dune Day because this is the day where myself and some of my family who can actually stand to watch it will get out the old copy of Dune. This is the David Lynch Dune, not the new Denis Villeneuve Dune, but the old edition of Dune that David Lynch did in, what year was this? I don't know if it says on here, but it's like 1983. No, it wasn't 83. I don't know what year it was. But let's just say it's a guilty pleasure that has a lot of meaning in my family. My younger brother, Tom, passed away in 2007, and he and I went to see that movie, I don't know, when it first came out. And we knew it was bad then, but we liked it anyway. And so for the next couple, 15 years or something before he passed away, every time I'd see him, we would quote lines from the movie back and forth and just really have a good time with each other, remembering the fact that we went and saw a really bad movie together. And so now I will watch it on his birthday, which is today, December 19th, in remembrance of him. And my daughter Julia has joined me as a lover of Dune Day. So today is about Dune Day and not necessarily so much about my book, because sometimes you just need to remember what's really important in your life. And for me, this is one of the most important things, remembering my brother Tom. Anyway, and also the fact that a crappy movie can be the thing that causes you to pull it out every year and create a new holiday with the people you love, because not everybody has to like it. But if you love it, embrace it. And without trying to find a torturous way to turn this into talking about the book, I will say that one of the central premises of the book is that you have the cry wanker. The new Dune doesn't look good either. We'll see. But let me tell you, when it's that layered with meaning, I think it's going to be actually pretty great. Because, again, it's going to remind me of my brother. So, anyway, what I was saying was this brings us back to the idea that this book, Nonfiction Brand, Discover, Craft, and Communicate the Completely True, Completely You brand you already are, kind of embraces that idea that not everybody has to like it. Meaning, not everyone has to like you, like what you have to say, or even agree with you. But the only thing you really own in this entire life is your voice. And by your voice, one of the concepts I talk about in the book is that your voice is something that only you have. But it's not just about your vocal voice. It's about how you express yourself. What's the best way to express yourself? What are the best social media channels to express yourself? You name it. Stuff like that. And cry wanker, will this book help me sell my screenplay? I don't know. It's not a screenwriting book. But one of the things that this book will do, and by the way, it's not going to be published until January 1st of 2021. One of the things it will do is give you a way of looking at you as not, I'm a screenwriter, but I am myself who happens to write for the screen, which is something totally different, because one of the things I hate is when people take those screenwriter classes and then they crank out the same type of screenwriting that everybody else does. And there's very little originalism involved in it, or original vocal styling and all that stuff. So this book is about becoming the nonfiction brand that you actually completely are, to align yourself with your voice in a way that allows people to look at you not as a screenwriter, which, by the way, is a commodity, but as a premium branded writer who writes for the screen. Like, for instance, Mank, the Netflix film Mank, which I haven't seen yet, about what's his name, Mankiewicz, who wrote the screenplay for Citizen Kane. He was not a commodity screenwriter. He was a capital M Mank. And notice how he took his name Mankiewicz and turned it into a shorthand way, and everyone called him Mank. That's a trick that a lot of people do to get themselves out of the commodity barrel and onto their own premium branded shelf. Everyone knows who Mank is because Mank was his own voice. He had his own voice, and he shared his own voice, and he didn't write conventionally. He created from an entirely original space that was his own. This might be really, really tortured because, again, I wasn't planning to go on very long tonight because this is a very special day and night for me. But since you're asking questions, Crywanker, so it's the equivalent of a mushroom trip without the drugs. This book? No, what it is it's a way of looking at who you are, what you do, and how you do it. And it encourages you to embrace all that stuff so that you aren't trying to copy someone else, but you're being completely yourself. Like, I can't remember the name of the screenwriter, but you'll know who I'm talking about. He did Being John Malkovich and The Orchid Thief and stuff like that. He wrote screenplays that were totally new. Yeah, Kaufman, right. He wrote screenplays that were entirely fresh because he was writing his own voice into a screenplay format instead of writing a screenplay to fit the format. Or, I don't know how to explain it other than, where do original voices come from? Original voices come from a place that is a human being who is totally comfortable in being who they are, in embracing what they do and how they do it, and then doing it over and over and over again. And, obviously polishing their craft, getting better at every step of the way. But they develop a brand so that when someone says, I need a screenwriter, but I need that screenwriter. Do you see the difference? To be one of many is a waste of flippin' time. To be one of one is the most powerful thing you can be. As a screenwriter, as a copywriter in advertising, as a house painter, as a dentist, as a realtor, to be one of one makes you more valuable and allows you to express yourself, your vision, and your voice via the most effective channels possible. Like, why am I doing this live stream tonight? Well, I learned a long time ago that even though I'm a quote writer, I'm a better performer than a writer, because I could easily sit down here and write a 2,000 word blog post that gets absolutely zero attention. But instead, I do this live stream, and all of a sudden, I've got Crywanker on here helping me out by giving me the name of the screenwriter of The Orchid Thief and Being John Malkovich, Charlie Kaufman, and we're talking about how he or she should be looking at selling her or his screenplay. Loading new, you can know, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, this is my way of saying that it's really important to remember who you are. And a big part of who I am was and is informed by my relationship with my brother, my younger brother, who passed away. And that was in 2007. Think about that. My younger brother passed away in 2007. And then a couple months later, my father died. That was a weird year. So 2020, terrible year, right? I might put 2007 up for worst year ever. But again, that's me, and that's different than other people. And consequently, your mileage may vary. But my point, and the whole point of the book, is that people should embrace who they are, what they do, and how they do it, and to truly embrace their voice via what I call the style stage. That is the best style stage for them. For example, I alluded to the fact that I'm a writer and I could write a blog post. Well, I'm like the laziest writer in the world because, there was an old quote that's been attributed to Dorothy Parker that I hate writing, but I love having written. That's how I feel. I hate writing, but I love having written, or I hate writing when I don't have an idea. And then when I do have an idea, I hate the fact that I can't type fast enough to keep up with my brain and the idea and the concept as it comes out naturally. So instead, my style stage that I've embraced, one of them is live streams like this. I mean, tonight is episode 288 of a 301 consecutive nightly live stream where I write a book in real time. In fact, you can see that book right here, which is currently being formatted in Microsoft Word. So this is where I left off last night. And, frankly, I'll be honest, I'm not going to do anything on the book tonight because I just wanted to keep my streak alive. And so I went live. But then Crywanker jumped in and started asking questions or making comments. And, actually, I'm finding this very interesting. So thank you, Crywanker, for actually hopping in on this party line and engaging with me on this. However, the book itself, the writing is done. And right now you can see, you can't really see it. I'll get my head out of the way so you can see it. Down here, you can see 250 pages and a total of just under 79,000 words. I never thought I could do that starting on Friday, March 6th and working on this a little bit every night. And yet here I am. And in fact, this book is going to be written or is going to be uploaded. The press-ready PDF files are going to be uploaded to Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing platform on January 1st of 2021 because I made this big, stupid commitment to both myself and to you, my peer pressure posse, to come do this live because, and by the way, I'm just telling you right now, most nights, no one was watching this. I mean, I'm kind of surprised anyone is tonight. Let's see. I've got two people maybe. Hey, two people. Crywanker, if you're still there, say hi. And whoever the second person is, why don't you say hi too? And well, then again, they might be on Facebook. Let me look that up because I don't have my Ecamm Live hooking up, working out where I can get comments easily. So instead, I got to go to the old house that Zuckerberg built. And, well, then again, they might be on Facebook. This bad boy. All right. Where was I? Oh, yeah, I was talking about the book. I was talking about how I wasn't going to be on too long tonight, but maybe I will be for a little bit longer. Let's go back to the book. Because one of the things I've been doing, especially now during this phase, is the editing and proofreading phase and stuff like that. I've been going through every page, one page at a time, and just reading through it, looking for the odd weirdness, the your thing. Like one of my pet peeves is the your, Y-O-U-R, versus Y-O-U''re. When I'm typing, I just tend to blah, 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 and then go back and go, of course I typed the wrong one. And it is a pure typo. So I'm going through this saying, so what's your brandle? Is it tell me more intriguing Can you back it up with an entire suitcase full of personal and professional proof points? Does it differentiate you from your competitors? I think I read this last night. No, I didn't. Does it differentiate you from your competitors? Does it attract those you can serve? You can best serve? If the answer to all those questions is an emphatic yes, congratulations. You've got a completely true, completely you brandle. Now, this concept, scalpel versus Swiss Army knife. One of my favorite online thought leaders is a guy named Pat Flynn, the founder of an entire digital marketing empire based around the central concept that it's always good to create passive income streams to augment any active ones you've got going. His Smart Passive Income podcast is one of my personal top 10 must-listens. What I find incredibly interesting about Mr. Flynn is just how completely authentic he appears to be on the mic, on camera, and in real life. He's a one-man living, breathing illustration of every point I'm trying to make in this book, and has been a very real inspiration to me ever since I heard him say this wonderfully rhyming and absolutely true phrase, "There's riches in the niches." I don't know if he's the guy who coined it, but since I heard it first from him, he gets all the credit in my book, quite literally. Right up there with Yoda's "there is no try, there is only do." This phrase is redolent with so many layers of meaning that I've been thinking about it ever since I heard him say it during one of his podcast episodes. Since then, I've heard many others riff off the core idea of riches niches in other phrases like niching down or hyper-specializing. But the seed concept remains the same. It's better to be a big fish expert in your own small pond than an all things to all people generalist. When confronted with a completely new to me idea, I always seek to connect the novel concept to concrete images, analogies, and or metaphors. And in this case, and for this one, it's the difference between being a scalpel or a Swiss Army knife. A scalpel is a purpose-built knife, or a scalpel equals purpose-built to excel at a single critical job. Swiss Army knife, mediocre at everything tool of some utility but no excellence. There's a natural desire in most human beings to want to be liked, accepted, and ideally preferred by the largest number of people possible. Let's call it the popularity trap. In order to be popular, specificity and precision go right out the window in favor of lowest common denominator, offenseless blather. To stand for anything at any time is a guaranteed way of shedding acquaintances. To stand for nothing with a bland smile on your face is to be liked by all. And yes, I am carrying a grudge. That's true. But this is really about how being specific in who you are, what you do, and how you do it, with an emphasis on becoming known as an expert in as narrow a niche as possible. So let's try that again. But this is really about being specific in who you are, what you do, and how you do it, with an emphasis on becoming known as an expert in as narrow a niche as possible. This book is filled with real-world, real human examples of people who have done just that and succeeded to dominate their chosen subfields. It's time you learned from their example and searched yourself and your personal and professional backgrounds for the niche that is perfectly suited for you to not only occupy, but ideally own. Take me for an example. At my core, I'm a writer, but what kind of writer? Fiction or nonfiction? I don't need to have a comma there. Fiction or nonfiction? Long form or short form? Theoretical or practical? Formal or casual? For what kind of audience? Any specific genre? The questions can go on and on. If I were a generalist writing authority, I'd not only be one of many, I would not be tapping into the full potential of my professional background and center of proven excellence. Fact is, I've never won an Oscar for screenwriting or a Pulitzer for journalism, but I have won a passel of Addies for advertising and marketing writing. That's a proven strength I should certainly be playing to. And to put an even finer point on it, why not really specialize in a subdiscipline of that? Branding. That's what being a scalpel is all about. A master of one rather than the proverbial jack of all trades, master of none. So, what's your niche? Can you sharpen it even further by looking deeper into your expertise to find the subdiscipline that you have truly mastered? You need to, because that's where your fullest value to others resides. The value for which others will seek out and recognize in you once you start owning and demonstrating it regularly and in public. The value for which this focused niche demonstrates the value for which others will seek. This focused niche demonstrates the value for which others will seek you out and recognize you in you once you start owning and demonstrating. God, I don't like that. That's right. Resides. This niche. To demonstrate. A focused niche like this enables you to demonstrate the value for which others. Oh, God, that's tortured. A focused niche like this enables you to demonstrate the value. God, I hate that whole sentence. What if, how's this fitting on the page? Okay, that's a pretty full page. So if I got rid of this altogether, and then try to tuck up that last line like that. Actually, I could do this. Yeah, let's do that. There's only one you, known as your unique combination of voice, experience, and expertise. Own what is yours and share it freely to those who need it. That's the only real way you can begin to build the personal brand called. Let's kick that onto the next page, which I think is where it was. All right, I'm going to leave this here and I'm going to end this because it is Dune Day after all, the day which I celebrate my brother's life. So, Tom, I'm thinking about you and keeping the bad legacy alive of quoting Dune back and forth to each other between me and Julia, my youngest daughter. And we think about you a lot. So, if you have someone in your life that you haven't talked to lately that you dearly love, get on the phone. Let them know, because they aren't going to be around forever. Just saying. And that's it for me tonight for Nonfiction Brand Again, kind of a weird day today, but one that one I had to keep my streak alive on this thing, right? But also, I think it points to the importance of living a truly authentic life, or what I like to call a completely true, completely you life, which is, you know, that living a life like that does not mean you get to be a jerk. But living a life that is truly authentic to who you are, what you do, and how you do it is something that you should strive to do every day. And by doing it, here's the beauty: by doing it and demonstrating who you are, what you do, and how you do it in a meaningful way, consistently, all of a sudden you're going to get what exactly happened to me, which is a company you worked with 3 years ago is going to call you out of the blue in the middle of a global pandemic and offer you a job. Yeah, that just happened. And yeah, there's more to come on that later, but I'm not going to talk about it all right now. But let's just say I've been actively practicing everything I preach for the past 4 or 5 years, and it's paying off because I'm being completely me, completely true, and creating a nonfiction brand that is all about being myself in a premium way rather than trying to be something else in a commodity way. If you don't understand what I'm saying, get the book, which will be coming out in early January on Amazon, on its Kindle Direct publishing platform. Well, that's it for me tonight. I'm kind of wasted after going up to Minneapolis to pick up my middle daughter to come home for Christmas and the holiday season. So I'm going to pack it in for tonight. Thank you for joining me. It's very nice to meet you, Crywanker. You know, interesting questions or comments as well. So thank you for that. And thank you for being part of my peer pressure posse that keeps me coming down here and working on this book, even though I don't want to. I'll see you tomorrow. But until then, theme music. Take us on out. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.